Did you know you can love people and still create space or make boundaries? You can love someone and still tell them you can come this far or say no to them, but in a manner that you don't hurt them. So, welcome to the Wellness Glow podcast. I am Miriam Kamburi and I'll be your host. And in this episode, we'll be talking about something that most of us struggle with: creating boundaries. Like telling someone you can come this far, but this is your limit. Today, I'm joined by a friend, someone that I really admire. I've known her for a while. She has been able to navigate life with family, community, loved ones, friends, by saying, like, you can come this far or I can go this far, but this is my limit. Hi, Liz.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine. Welcome to my podcast, and I'm
Thank you.
happy to have you here. I want to give you a moment to introduce yourself to our listeners so that at least they can get to familiarize with you before we begin.
Okay, so I'll just pick up from where you've left.
Okay.
I do not think that I am that perfect the way you're describing it. I wouldn't say that I have perfectly 100% navigated life, but I am getting there. So let me just put that out there. And once again, my name is Elizabeth Njeri Chege. You can call me Liz if you get to know me. I am a communication specialist, and beside that, I love poetry. I also sing sometimes, and I do spoken word. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Yeah, and I also remember you're a poet.
Yes, I am a poet.
I wish you could. I don't know. If we have time, I'll give you a moment. At least to tell us, like, is it a verse or stanza? I don't know. What do you call it?
We call it a verse.
Yeah, at least one verse about something that you really like, about yourself or something that you really like.
That's impromptu, but I'm gonna make one up on the spot. So if it's not perfect, just know I've made it right now.
Yeah, it will still be good for
Yeah.
someone like me. Okay, so can we begin maybe? Can you tell us an instance, one of the instances maybe in your life that you knew this is an instance where I know I'm supposed to create a boundary, but it was difficult for you or you couldn't do it? Do you have one that you can share with us?
Okay, that calls for me to think deeply, but something that comes to mind immediately you talk about that is about our romantic relationships.
Talk about that.
When you're in that point where you're getting to know someone, you're so curious to know about their day, what they do, their hobbies are, and you end up even talking, like, the first time you're getting to know someone and you're calling each other, you're talking up to midnight, sometimes 2 a.m. So for me, a moment like that was I was getting to know this guy. I was so excited about him, about his life. I literally wanted to know everything about him. So we would talk up to 4 a.m.
Okay.
And that happened for like a week. And then now in my mind, I know this is not right for me because the following day I have to go to work. But I'm also curious and I want to know this person.
Okay.
So I was kind of had dissonance because I like this person, I want to know them, but I know I have to set a boundary because this is not healthy in the long term. Like, I cannot sustain it.
Yeah, true.
So how I handled that is I texted the person. I explained that I am interested in getting to know you, but I don't think our communication is sustainable. Like, if we were to do that in a year, I wouldn't really be talking to him up to 4 a.m., up to 2 a.m. in the morning. Like, we have another life to live outside of talking to each other. So I just communicated to him that and expressed this does not mean that I do not want us to communicate, but let us do it within the limits of the other things we are doing in life.
Yeah.
And luckily, he was receptive about it.
Oh, that is so nice. I
Yeah.
like the example that you've given because you see, I think some of us, when we get into these things, when it's new to us, we forget about ourselves.
Yes, we
You
do.
start prioritizing knowing the other person and getting like to explore this and forget yourself in the middle of it. And I like the fact that you said that after you realized that this is not healthy for me, like you reached out, communicated about it, and he was receptive, I can say.
Yeah, and like it's not just about me. I know I am the one who set the boundary, but it's not just about me. It's not healthy for him as well.
Yeah, it's very true.
Because emotionally, I am creating a dependency that I have to speak to this person for this amount of time. So when life starts happening and they cannot speak to me with the same intensity and the same time,
Yeah.
then I'm going to tell them that they changed. Like, you changed.
That's
We do
true.
not talk as we used to be or as we used to do.
You're
We are
no
not
longer
close anymore.
interested.
But it's not that they changed, it's that at the onset we never set a boundary and we behaved as if we are interacting in a vacuum and nothing else is happening outside of just me and him.
Okay, that is
Yeah.
very nice. I like it. Maybe to ask you, have you ever had an instant whereby you kept a boundary and you felt guilty about it?
Oh my goodness. Story of my life. Like,
Tell us about it.
I think most of us, and me included, you really want to. I don't know if I have a people pleasing tendency or I am getting out of it, but there are most of the time that I set a boundary, I feel guilty about it. And I have to remind myself that it's not wrong to set a boundary. It's not wrong to want there to be a limit to how you interact with people, where you go with people, or how you let people into your life. So yes, I feel that all the time.
All the time.
And I keep on, I am this introspective that I keep on asking myself, what is it in me that is making me feel guilty? Is it that I want to please people so much that I do not care about showing up for myself?
Yeah, that is very true. And you find most people, they care showing up for others more than they show up for themselves, which is very wrong. Don't do that. Keep
And
yourself first.
an example, I was just thinking last week, why is it that this is for me and maybe it's a me problem and it's not what other people are experiencing out there?
Okay.
Why is it that when I am going to work, I can wake up and be at work by 8:30, but when I am showing up for myself, like for example, I am still in school, so doing my assignments, wellness, maybe going for a run. I love running, going for a walk. Why is it that I cannot commit the same way I commit for other people?
Okay.
Yeah, so it's something I'm exploring and wondering what is it about me that does not allow me to show up for myself in the same way I show up for other
others.
people and other activities. Yeah.
That is very true. I think everyone needs to ask themselves that question. Like, why do you have to show up? Like, be more merciful or show yourself more grace than you show others. It starts with you,
Yeah,
not with
true.
other people, with you first. If you do it yourself, you can also extend it to someone else. Do you think there is what can I call it? Like, do you think there is a conflict between kindness and not keeping boundaries? Because sometimes for me, I think there is in some instances where I can find like I can be doing something like I know like I'm keeping a boundary. It is going to hurt someone, and I'm like, let me just be ease on this person because I'm trying to be kind. I don't want them to feel so bad. Yeah, because I know sometimes I can be like that tough, that kind of tough person. Like I feel like I feel I've gone too far, and I need be at ease with this person. Do you think like there is that conflict? People confuse kindness and keeping boundaries.
I would take us back to a statement I wrote, I think an year ago, that truth doesn't have to be hard. Like you see the way you tell someone, you tell
Okay.
someone, I'm telling you the truth, but the way you say it,
It matters.
yes. So it's the same way with kindness and boundaries. You have to reevaluate yourself and ask, at what point or with what motive am I doing this? Am I doing this to be perceived as superior, or am I doing this because it's important to me? Or how am I phrasing this? I know we are in a selfish generation, I would say.
Yeah, true.
And maybe it's not our fault that we are here, because we are also the outcome of the society that we live in. But now we have to ask ourselves, am I being kind to the other person as much as I am setting a boundary with them? And yes, there's that conflict at all times.
So it can be a conflict, and they also can correlate in a way.
Yeah, I think they are not on the opposites, like they're not extremes. It's not one or the other. They correlate, like kind of complement.
Okay.
I don't know if that's like the right kind of relationship for the two, but they go hand in hand. You can set a boundary and be kind at the same time.
It's very true.
You don't have to be rude to tell a person that I don't want to meet up with you. Like you can, and again, you do not have to explain your no.
Yeah,
Because
that I
that's
agree.
where, if for example you called me for this podcast and then I was not able to attend for some reason, I do not have to justify for you why I will not be able to attend.
Yeah.
Same case to when you asked to go somewhere and you're like, I will not be available. And there's that urge in you to say, I will not be available because
I think most of us struggle with that. Like you want to justify. You don't want this person to feel bad or something, like you're pushing them away. Like you want them to feel okay with what you're trying to say. That is very.
And instead of saying the because, the reason why you will not be available, how about you say, I will not be available, and this does not mean I do not want to hang out with you.
True.
Yeah, because now you cannot control how the other person perceives, but at least you can help them in navigating. There are people who have a problem thinking that maybe you're rejecting them, or they'll go overthink about it. Maybe you can help them.
That
Yeah.
is very true. That I think that has already answered the other question that I was about to ask you, because most of us struggle with creating boundaries without hurting the other person. Even most of us, you create a boundary, but at the end of the day, one of you is hurt. Like you feel good about it. Sometimes you also feel guilty, by the way. Like why did I do that? So you find sometimes both of you are hurt. So there's a good way, there's a better way to say like no, but this is the limit, something like that. There is always a good way, right?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this. Have you okay, okay, what does self-protection look like for you?
Okay, it depends. When you just say self-protection,
When it comes to mental health, yeah, let's talk more of mental health.
okay, when it comes now to self-protection in mental health, I know we have had a lot of conversations about energies, vibes. Like we just throw those words around so much, and you can just speak to a person and you're like, oh, the energy was off, the vibe was off.
Yeah, and I think some of us don't understand what they really mean. We just use them for the sake.
And maybe I also do not understand, but I perceive that you can talk to someone, and after leaving that interaction or engagement, you feel that your energy levels have changed, you feel drained. So I think as much as we do not know by definition what energy and vibe means, we know by description that when you interact with someone and you feel drained, then the vibe was off.
It's off. You move on and look for someone else when you eat a match.
So I think when it comes to self-protection for me, for my mental health, I wouldn't say I'm doing so well with that. And maybe it's because I am empathetic by nature, and sometimes I'm a listener. So I don't think I have gotten to a point where I can say now I am there when it comes to self-protection. I listen a lot. I will ask probing questions. I'll just randomly walk to someone's shop and have this urge to ask them, do you love what you do?
Okay.
So it means that I am maybe kind of intrusive as well. So that means I am welcoming people into my space.
That is
So
fair.
I don't think I have gotten to the point of self-protection yet. But if I interact with someone and I realize they drain me or they take so much out of me, then I try to limit the interaction.
That is nice.
Yeah.
Picking up from one of the statements you just said about energy, how do you normally check on your own energy before you share it with someone else?
Okay, that's my favorite part.
How do you
And
do it?
as I said, I'm a very intuitive person,
Okay.
and I love spending time with myself. I can say I know myself so well, and I know when I am not okay.
Well, I love that.
And I journal a lot. I think it's something that comes with like when you're a creative, you write, you sing, you dance alone in the house, you create TikToks. So for me, when I feel my energy is off, I try to avoid pouring that into other people.
Okay.
And even for my close friends, I ask them, are you in a space where we can have a conversation? Like, I want to tell you something that might shift your energy. Are you up for it?
And how,
So,
like, do you do it? Like, you avoid, do you, like, isolate yourself? How do you do it?
okay, I don't think I isolate
Yeah.
myself.
Uh-huh.
Most of the time, if I'm not at work or in school or doing other activities, then I'm alone in the house. So what I do is just sing, write, create TikTok. I think I entertain my neighbors a lot. So yeah, that's what I do, and then make calls now to interact with my friends. Even at that time, I do not isolate. I just text them and let them know I am not feeling okay. Do you want to talk?
Okay.
And then for that now they knows like I'm gonna just outpour myself.
You
Sometimes
speak it all
cry.
out.
Yeah.
That is a good thing. Now, let me ask you, have you ever in your life, like, kept one boundary, just one? You just give us an instance whereby you created this boundary and give you, like, peace of mind that you can't even explain.
Yes, I have. And I think it's a result of the same boundary implemented over different instances. And that's concerning my social life. There's there's a way I want to socialize. So if I am invited to events that do not conform or are not what I want, then I'm not gonna go no matter who is going.
Okay,
Yeah.
and when it comes, we've spoken a lot about how you do it, but now I'd like you to look at that camera and help someone who is struggling to keep a boundary or trying to protect their peace. Where do you think they should start?
Okay. This is a hard one to do because different people are in different spaces and their contexts are different. So I would say that keeping your boundaries is not a one size fits all approach. I cannot tell you what I do for you to do it, but one I would advise look at your context. What are the things around you that make it hard for you to keep a boundary? Then are these things you can control or things you cannot control? If you can control, then slowly start implementing the boundaries that you would like around you. If you cannot control, then think about how can I work around this ecosystem that I am in. The other thing I would say is that it's okay to feel guilty when you are starting to implement boundaries. That guilt feeling does not mean that you should take back the boundary or you should just leave it alone. It means that you should implement the boundary more because it's doing something to you. That's why you're having that guilt feeling. Then look at your people pleasing tendencies. Look at the way you show up for people compared to how you show up for yourself. When you want to make yourself a nice meal versus when someone visits you and you want to cook for them, how well do you do it? Do you care for yourself the same way you care for your guests? When you want to go for a run or go to the gym or start a wellness plan or start dance classes or start art, swimming, music, Do you do it with the same intensity that you would do it if someone else was asking you to do it? Then the last thing I would say is we focus so much on the rewards that come with implementing a boundary or showing up for other people. I think we need to create a reward system also for us when we do things for ourselves, because boundaries and implementing them starts from a point of knowing who you are, knowing what you want and how you're gonna get there. You might not have like the step by step the breakdown, but just having the wider plan is a good starting point.
Well,
Yeah.
that is some good advice. I hope if you want to start, like you've been struggling with this, please make sure you've captured all that. It's very important about not feeling, don't feel guilty. It's okay to say no and someone gets hurt or you get hurt. It's normal. It's not like we are the first ones to do it. I'm sure even my mom maybe has ever done that, or my dad. Everyone goes through that. You're not the only person who's going through that. So before we end this episode, I'd like us to do just 2 questions and 1 sentence. I'd like you to tell us what wellness means to you. And I'll ask you only 2 questions that you will tell us some of the things that you do. Never know, maybe someone can find it there and also implement it, and they also get better when it comes to this. So the first question is what is your me guilty time? Like, what do you do and you don't feel guilty for you to feel okay?
Oh, sleeping.
Okay, so you're a sleepy baby.
I think if I am not doing all the things I said I do, I am sleeping.
All right, that is not bad. It's also healthy. You're told you should sleep 8 hours, but do you extend it? Like,
Okay, I sleep. My sleeping schedule is a bit irregular, but I get 8 hours anyway.
okay,
Yeah.
that's good. For me, I think me normally it's music. Like, yeah,
Okay.
music.
Music
Yeah,
on the pods, music in a speaker in the
yeah.
house.
Anyway, as long as I'm also singing loud, it's just I can also decide to sing on my own as long as I'm okay. And what's one, let's keep it spiritual, a bit spiritual. What's
Okay.
one of the spiritual things that you do that grounds you?
Okay, there are lots of spiritual things, but I'm gonna say one. I would say meditation.
Wow,
Yeah.
meditation works. You know, I'm that kind of a person. If I sit and meditate, everything starts coming back to my.
Like there's just a way that I connect what the Bible says about me specifically. Sometimes I do speak to teenagers, and most of the times they have questions about their body image.
Yeah.
So most of the time when I'm thinking about teenagers, I think, what does the Bible say you are, or what does the Bible say I am? The Bible says I am not born of natural descent or a husband's will. I am born of God, and whatever is
Yeah.
born of God overcomes the world, and that is my faith. So, like, those are the things. Whenever I think that there's a time I created a wellness plan, and then I wasn't following it, and I remembered Hebrews. The no discipline sounds pleasant at the time, but painful later on. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who are trained by it. And then
Yeah.
in my head, I'm like, yeah, I gotta be disciplined because it will give me a reward. But also, the Bible acknowledges that discipline is hard. So I felt validated. So sometimes I meditate for validation. What does the Bible say? If I feel that it's hard, are there other people in the Bible who felt the
The
same
same
way?
way you
It
did.
makes me feel that I am not alone.
Yeah, and I like that fact that you relate yourself with the characters in the Bible, whereby you think, like, I'm going through this. Did someone go through it, and did they come out of it? That is
Yeah.
very nice because it gives you that feeling like you're not alone. I'm not the first person to go through this, anyways.
Especially when I am looking at all my imperfections. I mean, there's this urge for us to be perfect. There's like we critique ourselves so much. We do not want to show up because we think other people are perfect and we are not.
It's true.
So whenever I have that urge in me, I look at all the imperfect people in the Bible and how God helped them and how they lived their lives. And then I also remember that I cannot be perfect unless Christ perfects me.
Yeah.
So ninaacha kujipea pressure.
It's true, pressure saa nyingine ni
I
mbaya. It
guess.
pushes you to do things that you're not even intending to do
true.
them. Like you
Yeah.
just do it for the sake of seeing someone. Like I want to see Liz happy with me. I don't want to be seen like Nico. You know, I'm not going with the trend. People are struggling with that, going with the trend, seeing things the way they're done on Instagram, social media, and you try to implement them in your own life, forgetting that it may not be real.
Let's even start with trying to make your house Instagram worthy.
Thank
Oh
you.
my goodness.
Have you ever tried it?
I just gave up because you're gonna follow an influencer who will change their couch after every 1 month.
Forgetting.
I do not have the money to do it, and till I get too attached to my furniture, I just can't change it.
It's true.
So I think you have to draw your identity from somewhere else, and it's not social media. Yeah, because trends are changing. Like right now, we are talking about wide leg jeans and crop tops and crop shirts. Then after that, we're gonna go to something else. So where do I take my wide leg jeans?
I don't know.
Yeah.
You donate it?
Where do I get the money to buy the new trend?
Another one. You work for it. You're working. You work for it and buy another one. But it's true. Most of us, we compare ourselves with celebrities. They look like, oh, what is this guy doing? You know, sometimes we forget that these people, they are using those to advertise or they are sponsored, something like that. And when you look in your pockets, you know, you
There's
only
no
have
money,
money to
guys.
get
Oh my
to buy you
goodness.
stuff. And you still want to do it.
And also, you're comparing your life. Let's at 24, you're comparing your life with someone at 30.
38.
Or let's even leave the age out of it. Maybe it's not even age related. The things you want to accomplish at the stage that you're at, why are you comparing them to someone who is at a different stage?
Yeah.
Like for me right now, what matters to me is finishing school. For someone else, what matters to them is traveling around the world. So if I compare my school and their travels, they're not going to be the same outcome. The baseline is not the same.
That's
So,
very true.
yeah.
Yeah, we have different, should I say destinations? Yeah, we have different ways to do things. Look at that camera. Tell someone or speak to someone who is out there listening to us today talk about boundaries, and they could be struggling to create boundaries or say no in a lavish manner without creating walls around them or their hearts.
Okay, so I'll just say two things. I know I've been told to say one thing, but I'm gonna say two.
Okay?
Just to reinforce that you do not have to explain your reasons for saying no or for setting a boundary. Just setting that boundary is enough. The second thing, when you begin to set boundaries, you will feel guilty about it, maybe out of your people pleasing tendencies, but that means you're on the right track, and it doesn't mean you have to go back on your boundaries. It just means you're on the right track. And the more you reinforce and implement them, then you will slowly get out of it.
All right. And I have not forgotten. I had said I'm not going to release you until you give us, and we at least we get to hear one of your poems that you've written. So please, the platform is yours right now.
Okay. I'm a bit nervous, but let me just explain. I wrote this poem in July 2023. I was in campus back then. So this poem came out of a book I read. I'm also a reader. I love reading. The book is by Colin Hoover. It's called It Ends With Us. It's the last of a series where we have It Starts With Us and then It Ends With Us. And It Ends With Us talks about violence, and it also talks about us being the last thread in a very toxic system or ecosystem. So this is the poem. Dear husband, I hope you know that your hands are not a weapon, nor mine a shield to deflect the arrows in your words. That your mind is not a battlefield or an armory where you pull out destructive weapons at will. And if my eyes were created for anything more than sight, I know you know it's definitely not the ability to conjure up painful tears. Yet again, I wonder how you manage to raise that same voice that whispers in my ears at night, the hands that hold me and caress my cheeks. And when you raise the shoes I cleaned to hit me, for that time in a week, I weakly start to question whether love and hate coexist within you. But that's just the thinking. But in the darkness of despair, I see a gleam of light, a voice within me urging me to fight. I am not defined by another's cruel sway. I'll break free from this fear and I'm gonna find my own way. I'm not gonna shrink anymore beneath your gaze. I'll rise above this tormenting haze. For the hands not for harm but to create, to lift others up, to love and not to hate. And I'll seek a love that is pure and that is true from those who cherish me as much as I do. And in the face of adversity, I'm gonna stand tall. I'll break free from your heartful thrall. In this journey of self-discovery, I'm gonna find my voice and I'll be free. I'm no longer going to cower under your might, and I'll reclaim my power and shine my light. And this I do because I know who I am, for the Bible says I am not born of natural descent, neither am I born of a husband's will. I am born of God, and whatever is born of God overcomes the world. I am born of God, and whatever is born of God overcomes the world. And that is our faith.
Wow. Okay, that is so nice. I've learned one thing from that poem already. That creating boundaries, first of all, starts with self-discovery.
Yeah,
You need to
it does.
discover who you are, what you like, what you don't like, what works for you, what doesn't work for you, things like that. So make sure you discover yourself. And also, it speaks to someone out there who has a related issue to that. Please don't stay there and you know you're not okay physically, mentally. And if mentally is not okay, I always say your spiritual life, your economic life, or any other form of life will never be okay. It starts with mental health. Thank you so much. That was so nice. And
Okay.
thank you for coming. I know you're telling me you were preparing for exams, but you still made time and came. You shown up. Thank you so much. I hope you pass with flying colors. Should I say that? Those are things that. Thank you. I'm sure someone who has heard your story and whatever you've had to say in this podcast, they've learned something out of it. They've related, because in this generation we are always going through similar things. And it's good when you get to hear about someone's story, you get to learn out of them and take something out of it. So thank you so much, Liz.
Much appreciated. Guys, I'm doing my projects. Niko point ya kuokoa semester. But other than that, I am still trying to prioritize my mental health and wellness. And I'm so glad that we are having these conversations.
Yeah.
One, because it makes you know that you are not alone. We are all going through something. And at whatever stage you're in, just know we are here right with you, and there are resources to support you. So don't lock it in. Reach out and you're gonna get help. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So as we wrap up, please remember you're not alone in this. Don't feel so bad about saying no when you feel it's the right decision you're making for yourself. It starts with you so that you can extend it to someone else. When you're okay, someone else will also be okay, because you won't be in a position to hurt them. And if this episode was it spoke to you, or you know someone who is struggling with creating boundaries in a good way, or even just creating boundaries, please make sure you share with them. Make sure you subscribe, follow, like, comment,
Save and share to your friends.
yeah, share with your friends, and make sure you tag us when you're doing that. The Wellness Loop podcast on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. So make sure you save your energy for yourself. Check in your energy first before you pour it to someone else. So that's all we've got for today. Until next time, bye.
It's a wrap. Bye.